You're listening to Entertain You. This is a radio program brought to you by the Radio Ear Network and Society Bites Network and the Sarasota County Film and Entertainment Office, also known as the Film Commission for Sarasota, Florida. I'm Jeannie Corcoran, your friendly neighborhood film commissioner, and thank you for listening. I bring you guests of wide, diverse variety, people in the arts and culture and entertainment world, everything from writers and producers and directors and actors to creative directors and executive directors of arts facilities and culture organizations. And I have a great one for you today. Her name is Mary Bensel, and she is the executive director of the Van Wezel Performing Arts Hall.
You got it all in.
Yay! Terrific. Mary, thank you for being here.
Oh, I love it.
Mary and I were talking before the interview started about how many similarities there are in her world of live theater and live performance artists, getting them here, bringing them here. But I'm going to let Mary tell you more about that because I would love for you to have a little bit of perspective about the kind of competition she faces. I face as a film commissioner competition from the world, but so does Mary.
Well, we have a lot of competition, and it's really difficult. It's been very difficult because, we just did a 3-week sold-out run of The Lion King last year. But I have trouble with bringing a lot of these large shows in, such as Hamilton and Wicked and so forth, because I get blocked by Tampa. Because Tampa, says, that Sarasota is is Tampa's market, which I highly disagree with.
Right.
And so, I just have to play games constantly to try to get a show. And, and I'm used to being, it's fine with me if we were second, but, when they try to take the second play away and the third play, or just keep it away from us, it's very, very hard. So that's very hard with the business of getting shows. And then given the fact, I have less seats than Tampa does. They have 2,600 seats at the Strata Center, and I have 1,741. But with concerts, we work really well with Ruth Eckerd Hall and the Mojave, where we'll play one night here and one night up there, and everybody does very well, and it's great. And, because the traffic is such a huge block for people wanting to go up to see a show, that starts at 8 o'clock at night, and you don't get home till 2 in the morning.
Right.
So that makes it a lot easier. And then, of course, we have secondary and third ticket markets right now, which I'm always very upset with because people buy tickets, and brokers do, and they put them on StubHub or other areas, and they mark the ticket prices up exorbitantly or sometimes give false information. And then what happens is, somebody buys a ticket, and what we have had happen is people say, well, I bought a $1,000 ticket to see Tony Bennett, for example. And our tickets were, say, $150,
Wow.
And there's no way I can return the money because they paid it to that other person that's marked it up. And so I always say, come to the Van Wezel box office,
right.
Call us, or
go to your website.
Go to the official website. You
right.
always look for the word official because the websites look very much like ours. You think you're on our website, and you're really misled. So.
Right. And to anybody in the sound of our voices that just heard that, I want to re-emphasize it because I have seen this happen. I've gotten phone calls from people that say, I bought tickets to such and such, and I couldn't get a refund. And I said, did you buy them from the venue?
Yeah.
Did you actually buy them from the venue? Because there's a world of difference between the venue and a broker, third party, someone else.
And mostly we don't do refunds, but for example, if the show is canceled, there's a refund, or somebody has a big problem, we'll try to swap them into another show or an online credit. But it's really the exorbitant price, and then sometimes what they do is they'll advertise tickets that they don't have. They will advertise a ticket, and we know for a fact the show isn't on sale yet. So I just say try to buyer beware and go to the right website, and official is the word you want to look for.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about happier
yes,
things.
Happy things. I want to talk a little bit about you and I think we both came to Sarasota sort of around the same time,
I believe
2007.
So. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And it's been great. I mean, I've been here. We've both been here a dozen years plus.
A dozen years, yes.
And you're doing great things with the Van Wezel. Your program every year, and I say this from the bottom of my heart, it gets better and better and better. And
we
I
really
see
work
things
hard
that
at it.
you do a great job. I've seen people here that I would have to go to Broadway to see normally.
Oh, yeah.
And my husband sees people that he never thought he'd get to see here. Bernadette Peters.
I know.
Is she a foxy creature for her her age
For
or
her
anything.
age, she is gorgeous. And, up close, her skin is as clear and, wrinkle-free. But, I mean, we just announced Josh Groban, who we
Right.
had once before as our gala, and he's coming on March 9th. And, you usually see performers of that stature at arenas. So we're very excited because when they are in a theater, it's a much different show.
Well, you've got quite a season ahead. I'm looking at things like Steve Martin and Martin Short.
Oh, they're hysterical.
Julie Andrews. How did you get Julie
Well,
Andrews?
it's interesting. Julie Andrews is being represented by one gentleman all over the country. And so he called us up and, what would you think? And I'll be honest, I tried to convince him to put it in season, because a lot of the people that aren't here yet. But, it's a special treat for those people that aren't or who are here all year round. And, she is so famous and so wonderful. And, it's all we do need to say she won't be singing because, of course, she had a horrible operation where they injured her voice. But she has a new book out. And, it's just delightful. I saw her on television the other day and her daughter was with her. And her daughter said, yeah, they used to make fun of me because, I was with a school trip and I saw a poster and Mom was playing Mary Poppins at the time. And she said, there's Mommy. And the teacher said, oh, I'm sorry, dear. That's Mary Poppins. That's not your mother. And she said, they probably thought I was demented, but my mother was Mary Poppins.
She was the real Mary Poppins.
She was the real Mary Poppins. And of course, Maria in The Sound of Music. And I saw her live do Victor Victoria, later in her career. And, of course, she's had such a gorgeous film story. And we have all sorts of things coming in the fall. 1 minute it's Julie Andrews. The next minute, you'll see a country star. And we have Dwight Yoakam coming. And the next night, Straight No Chaser.
And the Pointer Sisters.
Oh, the Pointer Sisters. And then, of course, I have this real problem. I am a Christmas crazy person. So I book way too many Christmas shows than what the staff would like, because...
but I love Christmas shows.
I do too, but selling Christmas in Florida isn't the same as selling it in Philadelphia. There's no nip in the air and, but we have a lot of them this year. I mean, we have Dave Koz coming with his fantastic show. And Dave Koz makes me laugh because he, of course, is Jewish and has one of the biggest Christmas tours of all,
It's the holidays.
It's the holidays. And we have Celtic Angels Christmas and the Nutcracker and Tony Bennett's coming during the holiday and the 10 Tenors Home for the Holidays and A Christmas Carol. So
even
really
Cirque,
is.
Even Cirque.
Cirque Holidays, that is a spectacular show. And that's one to bring the kids, the grandmother, everybody. It's, of course, stunningly beautiful Christmas costumes, thousands of them, and then all the acrobatics and the tricks, if you will, or the whatever you want to call the Cirque acts, are just beautifully done with the holiday theme and ethereal singers, and I just love it. And then, of course, for the first of the year, we have the Salute to Vienna. And, and then if you want to rock out in the fall, we have Collective Soul. So they're celebrating their 25th anniversary. We're at the Van Wezel. We are older. We're celebrating our 50th.
50th, wow. It's
Can
hard
you
to believe.
imagine?
I was a kid here. I was a little
Were
kid
you
here when they
really?
built Van Wezel, and they
Oh my
nicknamed
gosh,
it the
Jeannie.
Purple Cow.
Right.
And the architect who designed it took so much flack because it was a
Purple.
bold, dark purple.
Oh, yeah.
He showed up. I'll never forget the press around it. He showed up at the grand opening, the premiere opening.
Really?
In a purple velvet tux.
Oh, my gosh.
And that was his way of saying, call it what you want.
Yeah,
it's
I
spectacular.
agree. And you know what it was is the wife had found a seashell in the Sea of Japan that was all these different shades of purple. And to this day, we have that on display by the elevator and over at the Van Wezel. But yeah, we're purple, we're gold. Nobody forgets us. I'll never forget Harry Connick driving up and he said, I couldn't believe this big purple thing sitting right there on the bay,
But now it's just a lovely shade of lavender.
It is. It's lavender and it's all sorts of shades of purple. But for the 50th anniversary, we scored one group that we've been following for years now, Il Divo, which is that super group that Simon Cowell put together where they blend opera and rock and roll and pop all together. And I will tell you, coming out of the box, it was the biggest seller of the single shows we had. And that our 50th anniversary is on January the 5th. And afterwards, Michael Zanis has promised to do purple cupcakes and champagne, and we'll enjoy our 50th birthday together, everybody in the audience.
And that'll be tied to the Il
Divo concert, yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah, which is wonderful.
Right. And people can always call and find out more details and times.
Oh, absolutely. Our phone number is 953-3368, or that very official website is www.vanwezel.org.
.org, O-R-G,
yes,
for
O-R-G.
organization.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And for those of you who are not in the U.S. or you're not in Florida, we're area code 941.
That's correct.
So say that number one more time.
Okay, 941-953-3368.
Fabulous. And, I've looked through your program, which is so marvelous. I mean, it's like a tour guide to entertainment.
It
and
is.
You have something for everybody. I mean, you have people that are fans of Dancing with the Stars. You have a big show from them. People that love the boys groups from the 50s.
Oh, my
You've
gosh,
got
yeah, the doo-wop.
The doo-wops and the street lamps, under the street lamps. You've got the 10 tenors.
The 10 tenors. They were originally the Australian tenors. And it's 10 gorgeous guys, and they come and sing their hits as well as the holiday songs, and they are just fabulous and lots of fun to play around with. I can tell you, they were here one year at New Year's Eve, and I had the best time going out with them. I went out with the 10 tenors, you know.
Now that's a date.
That's a date. That was a big date, But we have a huge Broadway season as well, because Broadway is my love, and I mentioned last year we had Lion King, but this year we kick it off with Beautiful, which is the Carole King musical. And that we have 5 performances of that, and it's a huge seller. And it's a fantastic show. It won Tonys and everything. And it's all the music. And you will be surprised. Everybody knows Carole King's music, but they'll be surprised to see all the hits she wrote for a lot of the Motown groups at one point. And then we go right into, we have a couple of returning shows. We have Les Miserables, which is my favorite show of all time.
That is a wonderful live show, and if you've never seen it live,
it's different.
It's a whole different experience than the film.
And the film was great too, but
yes.
I mean, it's worth seeing both. And then we have Waitress, which is don't come hungry to that show, because the show is about, well, it's also about romance, but it's about pies and baking pies. And of course, we'll probably be piping in some pie smell, to make sure because we'll be selling pies in the lobby. But it's a lot of fun. And then, of course, we have Book of Mormon coming back, which Book of Mormon is outrageous. It's wild. And then more premieres. We also have a number of other premieres. And
some great classics. You've got a Bronx Tale, An American in Paris.
Yeah, well, Bronx Tale is actually a new show.
Is it?
It is a new show. You may have been thinking about, there was a one-man show with Chaz Palminteri and a movie.
Right.
But as far as the Broadway goes, it's a new show, and it's great. It's sort of like Jersey Boys meets West Side Story, and I love Bronx Tale. And then,
I'm so glad you told me that, because there may be other people that just see the title.
Oh, absolutely.
And think, I saw Chaz Palminteri do that.
Yeah,
or I saw the film based on that.
Yeah. I was in New York, and Chaz Palminteri is a client of one of my agents. So Chaz has his own restaurant in New York, and I give him a plug. It was excellent Italian food in New York. And then American in Paris is just a gorgeous show. We had to add an extra performance to that one. And then, unfortunately, our Margaritaville show pretty much sold out on subscriptions. So there might be a single around or not. And then we have Come From Away, which is the big show.
Now, I've heard a lot about it. I have not seen it. I go to New York several times a year on business, but I end up doing all business. I don't get any fun. I don't get to go to Broadway.
See, I do all business too, but my business is Broadway.
That's great. Yeah. So tell me about this. It's based on a true story, and it's been winning Best Musical.
It won many awards, and it's been sweeping hearts. And it's really a musical about 9/11. Oh. What happened on 9/11 was, everybody can remember where they were. But I never thought about, what do you do with the planes in the air? Because they were smart enough to take those planes out of the air so they wouldn't target and hurt more people. Mm-hmm. And so they thought, where do we put all these planes? And so they sent them, a lot of them, to Gander, Newfoundland. And that's this little tiny island,
right?
Yeah, but it used to be when, you'd make a stopover to go to Europe, they'd stop in Gander. So they had this huge airport runway. And so 700 people